Buenas tardes a todos, bienvenidos. Para una mejor experiencia, les solicitamos por favor que mantengan sus micrófonos muteados. Todo el material que presentaremos puede ser utilizado para difusión y promoción. Muchas gracias y que disfruten del evento.
Bienvenidos, bienvenidos, welcome. Estamos aquí en un evento increíble. Estamos conmemorando, celebrando el 10º aniversario, 10 años de la creación de esta fantástica serie Vikings. Y el estreno ahora, a partir del 6 de marzo, es solamente en History 2 para toda América Latina, incluyendo Brasil. Welcome to each and all of you in this unique and powerful event. We're commemorating and celebrating the 10th anniversary of Vikings. And we cannot be more excited to talk about this amazing series, a groundbreaking, crowd-pleasing, and history-making of Vikings, a unique series that was the predecessor of all the series that come after that, including Game of Thrones. So, with no further ado, we are going to share with you one demo to summarize what powerful household is Vikings.
Te ofrecemos la oportunidad de brillar en batalla, de impresionar a los dioses y de volver con un botín como nunca antes has visto. Creo que hay un modo de ir al oeste.
¿Cómo es que tú encontraste ese lugar de riquezas cuando todos tus predecesores fallaron?
Tengo algo que lo cambiará todo.
Este es un hombre ambicioso.
Quiero saber qué hay al oeste. ¿Qué ciudades y dioses hay allá?
Este es un hombre que no respeta nuestras tradiciones.
Este no es el fin. Es solo el comienzo.
¿Quiénes son?
A partir del lunes 6 de marzo tenemos 89 episodios, 6 temporadas completas de Vikings, la serie más impresionante creada por y para History, ahora en estreno en History 2. Hoy vamos a tener la gran oportunidad de conversar con el creador de esta espectacular superproducción, con Michael Hirst. Y antes voy a presentarles y compartir con ustedes un video. Recuerden que todo el material lo pueden utilizar para promoción y difusión. Gracias.
¿No estás satisfecho con esto? Dime, ¿quién tiene la llave?
La tierra arde en llamas.
Ya escuché tu plan. ¿Qué hay del bote?
¿Dónde está, señor?
Su estructura es diferente. Su quilla central es más fuerte.
Ragnar Lothbrok, no vuelvas a meterte en mis asuntos nunca más. Yo interpreto al conde Haraldson, el rey de los vikingos. Es un hombre poderoso. ¡Silencio! Representa el viejo orden, contrario a Ragnar, que representa el nuevo. Pero entenderás que todo esto me pertenece.
Ragnar Lothbrok fue el primer gran vikingo en salir de la neblina, del mito y la leyenda.
¿Qué sabes tú de nuestros dioses?
Ragnar estuvo detrás de los primeros saqueos.
Ragnar Lothbrok, eres el hombre que la gente dice que eres.
El principal enemigo de Ragnar es el conde Haraldson. Ragnar siente que es mejor hombre, así que le es difícil ser real.
Me insultaste allá afuera. No es la primera vez, pero créeme, será la última.
Este es un drama sobre una familia. Son personajes que pierden, que se enojan y que aman, como todos lo hacemos.
¿Esta es otra manera de decirme que me amas?
Creo que lo que mantendrá al público enganchado son sus personalidades y sus historias.
Oh, sí. Ragnar Lothbrok. Ya he escuchado ese nombre. ¡Esos paganos son hombres como nosotros! ¿Acaso no sangran cuando los cortan?
Este no es el fin, es solo el comienzo.
And now we are here with the one and only, the mind and the brain, Michael Hirst. How are you doing today?
Very well, thank you very much. It's very exciting to be with you on this special occasion, and I know that there are many people in Latin America and Brazil and who love Vikings. Vikings never reached there, but they would have if they could have. And anyway, this is for me. Very important to be able to talk about it, the show. It's still very important in my life and in my experience.
So let's start with the beginning. How everything started with Vikings, how it came a reality as one of the groundbreaking series of all times.
Well, I'll try to make this, although everything for me is a story, of course. And the story begins when, after I'd made the film Elizabeth, I was asked to write something about King Alfred, the medieval English king, who fought against the Vikings. So I did a lot of research about the Vikings, and I realized that I didn't know anything about them. I thought I knew about them, but I didn't know anything about them at all. I became fascinated by their culture, their paganism, their democracy, all sorts of aspects of them. That movie didn't happen, but when MGM reconstituted itself after going bankrupt, it needed a new TV show, and they picked up Vikings. The show had started to write, and then we sold it to the History Channel, which was their first drama, I believe, certainly their first long-form drama. And they did say, why would we be interested in doing something about Vikings? Why Americans should be interested in Vikings? And I said, well, we were in New York. I said, just walk around the block and you'll meet about 50 people with Viking DNA. The Vikings got everywhere and influenced so many societies, certainly across Europe, and they reached America. So it's relevant to people today. And so it's thanks to MGM and thanks very much to the History Channel to take the chance to make this show that they didn't know how it would work out. And luckily for me and for everyone else, it worked out absolutely brilliantly.
We are so grateful that MGM did the right thing as well as History Channel. Now, we know that it's around $400 million, the total investment of 6 seasons and 89 episodes. But we also know that is rumors going on forever about a possible movie or even a limited series. How much of a truth is on those rumors?
Well, it's certainly true that just about all of us who were involved in Vikings would like to return and do it again. It was a wonderful experience for us all. It was a great crew. We had a great time in Ireland. We all grew with the series. It was very important in our careers. And the chance of going back again, getting together again, maybe doing a movie or a limited series would be absolutely wonderful. We are talking about it. We continue to talk about it. Of course, Vikings has a huge fan base across the whole world. And, I've had messages from outer Mongolia from people who watch it there. And So I would like to go back. But I wouldn't like to do it just for the sake of doing it. It would have to be a very strong story and have, with full of meaning and significance. And that would be the only way that I'd want to return to the screen with Vikings.
And that's the way we are going to return with you. Now, don't go away. We are going to talk to the lady in charge. We are going to talk to one of the most fierce warriors of all times, La Gerta. And for us is the wonderful and unique Catherine Winnick.
La tierra arde en llamas. Hay fuego a mi alrededor. Y tendré que pagar el precio. O perderé mi vida.
Tu madre era una famosa guerrera.
¿Era? Acompáñanos. Cura. Si algo llega a ocurrirle a mis hijos, que sea el propio Thor que te asesine.
Okay, Catherine, how are you? How are you doing? Welcome.
I'm
How are you
good.
doing today?
Great. Thank you for having me here. Glad to see all my returning castmates and showrunner. It's beautiful to see them and their beautiful faces.
So this is like a prom reunion for you. So after all this time,
Yeah.
you are getting all together after 10 years of celebration. So the first question is like, how do you felt and how do you still feel about being the most powerful female lead in a TV series called Vikings in this particular case, La Gerta? How you make it your own?
Well, that's a big statement. I could not have done it without Michael Hurst and the incredible crew members and castmates that I was surrounded with. Being a part of Vikings and getting a chance to read who Lagertha was from literally just a poem and a legend to now making her who she is now. It was for 6 seasons, and seeing her age throughout the different time periods. It was just more remarkable, and I feel so blessed to get a chance to play such a fierce character that has made a worldwide impact to women and children and men and young girls around the world, and really became a role model. So I'm grateful for that.
Talking about role models and inspirations of all time, you're not only an actor, you are a director of series like Big Sky and even episode of the 6th season of Vikings. And most importantly, you are a fearless, in real life, activist. So let's talk about your director role first.
Well, first of all, I was blessed to have my directorial debut on Vikings, and I was lucky enough to work closely with Michael Hurst in getting a chance to direct my fellow castmates and creating his vision on the screen, now playing a different role behind the camera. And the crew members were absolutely amazing just to work with, and they became really family. And I'm not going to lie, they definitely gave me the bug as a director. I really enjoy telling a different side of the story than just necessarily in front of the camera, and to working as a collaborative effort. And I hope to direct a lot more. There's more things coming, so I'm excited to announce soon. But it's definitely getting a chance, not only seeing how scripts are developed and getting a chance to flesh out the character roles on the screen, and getting a chance to work with different actors. You really get a chance to really get and get an impact now as an actor director to make a mark. So I'm excited for that to be even. You'll see more of that soon.
Now, you as an activist have a very unique role, not only with the Winnick Foundation, but also with Ukraine as a cause. Would you please summarize what is this so important, so close to your heart?
Well, for me, as you all know, I started off doing martial arts at a young age. At the age of 7 years old, I started Taekwondo and martial arts, and I started my own martial arts school at the age of 16 and ran 3 different Taekwondo schools. So I've always been a strong supporter of women, physical defense and understanding how to take care of yourself. That's why I think Lagertha became who she is. I did all my own stunts and got a chance to really, with Michael Hurst and with the amazing team, and really make Lagertha who she is. And I think for me that it's always been important to have a voice for women and girls all around the world. It's a crazy time that we live in right now. And when the war hit, it propelled my foundation, the winnigfoundation.org, to specifically focus women and children. And this year we're focusing on women and children. So I've recently, there will be an announcement this week, and you will see where the efforts are going to go towards, which I'm very excited to partner up with a very well-known charity there. And you know that 100% of all the proceeds go directly to Ukraine and to the people in need for humanitarian needs.
Please don't go away. We're going to talk to you further in detail regarding your new found vision regarding as a director, and of course your passion as an activist. And now let's keep talking about Vikings, and now we're going to invite another friend of yours, Clive Standen, most known as...
Ya escuché tu plan. ¿Qué hay del bote? Está casi listo. No iré bajo tus órdenes. No iré a menos que seamos iguales. Somos hermanos. Tú y yo siempre seremos iguales.
Eres el hermano de Ragnar Lothbrok.
Lo soy.
Disculpa, pero me parece que a él le gusta gobernarte.
Y yo digo que muere. Quiero saquear y pelear. A eso nací.
Now, Clive, how are you? How are you doing? Clive? Okay, I don't see you, but I can hear you. That's a good thing. So, Clive, tell us what is it meant for you as an avid history fan, and as an actor, and as a man to impersonate Rollo.
Oh, I grew up a working class boy in the UK, and we never really went abroad when we were going on holiday. So my mum and dad would like drag me the length and breadth of the British Isles, and we'd go and visit every monastery or castle or ruin. And you know, as a kid, I kind of didn't really appreciate it as much, but as I got older, I realized that history was kind of my thing that I had a bit of a bug for. And as an actor, I've always kind of loved historical dramas. I think there's way more to get your teeth around. You know, when you start researching, it's not just researching a character, it's researching the whole period of time. So Vikings is a dream come true, because it really is, as Michael hit on, it's the very first time that these people and this race of people had been explored from the inside out. So it's not just a show where you're playing these Vikings that have horned helmet kind of monsters from the sea that just raped and pillaged, and there's no, you know, you don't invest in them. Michael really invested in the whole world and told the story from these guys from the inside out and where they came from. So I mean, as an actor, it's just a dream come true to be able to play something that you can really just immerse yourself in.
And big question for you, what it means to be reunited today after 10 years with the rest of the cast?
It's really special for me. Vikings, I mean, it's 10 years of my life. I've had children. I've gone through a divorce. I found love on the show. It's like, it's been 10 years. It's been a massive kind of a journey for me. So to be as friendly with everyone and for us all to stay in touch is really quite special, because I've now gone on to other shows, and as much as you get on with castmates and sometimes it just feels more like a job than anything else, what you have, you don't realize you've lost until it's gone. And we really did have one of those shows where we just somehow were a bunch of eclectic morons that never really kind of competed with each other, and we just kind of clicked. And I don't think there's a single person in the cast that hasn't really kind of stayed a part of like our big family.
Talking about love, we saw your love interest a couple of seconds, and it seems that she knows everybody. Do you want to tell us how you combine love and Vikings in one set?
She's right here. Lucy Martin, who plays Ingrid in
season 6. You can show up. We have no issue with that.
I don't know where she's gone. Lucy, you gonna come down?
She can say hi to all Latin America.
She's going to come and say hi. So bizarrely, Lucy and I never worked together in the show. Lucy was in season 6, and I was really in season 1 to 4.5. Here she is.
Hello.
So Lucy
So
and I
you're
met
the
in Germany
consequence of
at the Viking Comic Con.
Exactly. Yes. So you see, love can do it. Love is love and can exist in the 6th season. When you were not part of it, you were part of it. So we love it. So
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being with us. Don't go away. Now we're going to talk to another member of the cast and the gang. His name is Gustav Skargard, and we want to share video with him.
Su estructura es diferente. Su quilla central es más fuerte. El bote no golpeará las olas como una cabra. Se deslizará sobre ellas como una más.
¿Pero tendrá la fuerza suficiente?
No lo sabremos hasta que lo probemos. Sé de qué árboles obtener la mejor madera con solo verlos. Puedo ver a través de los árboles. ¿Por qué no me creíste? Te dije que podría hacerlo.
And now, don't worry, it's okay. With this live, and now we're going Gustav, and we want to talk to this guy because, of course, Floki is a very unique character in Vikings. Remember, the premiere is on March 6. El 6 de marzo es el gran estreno de Vikings. Es a las 9 de la hora México, es a las 10 de la hora Colombia, 11 Argentina y Chile, y a las 10 de Brasil también. Son 6 temporadas, son 89 episodios, y ahora en breve hablamos con Gustav. Estoy listo cuando ustedes estén, chicos. ¿Me conectan?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Gustav, how are you? I can hear you perfectly well.
Okay, good. Because I had a problem connecting to the link, but now I'm on Zoom here, so I think that it works now.
It's working
Hi.
well. So
it was really fun to hear myself in Spanish.
How do you feel about it? You sound even better in Portuguese.
Oh, even better in Portuguese? Yeah. Well,
Yes.
it's a more beautiful language. Oh, did I just say that? I'm sorry to all the Spanish people, the Spanish-speaking people.
Don't worry. Floki is
Everything
a
sounds
fictional
better in
character.
Portuguese.
Floki is a fictional character that was based on a real character. How do you make it your own? How you claim ownership of this unique role that is not 100% history based?
Yeah, well, he's not. I mean, he's very slightly historically based, right? So
Correct.
when Michael first told me about the character, and I Googled him, and I was like, I only found this one Floki, and he was the guy who discovered Iceland, and we were sort of talking about it. It's like, yeah, wouldn't that be great if that sort of is the guy, you know? But so I think that Michael had already created a really strong character on the page, and then it was just up to me to sort of bring that character to life, you know, and that was a very fun process. I was sitting in my hotel room in Ireland practicing different giggles to find the right one.
So my question to you is like, today we are celebrating 10 years of Vikings. It was and it is till today a groundbreaking event that comes before any other show, before Lords of the Rings or Game of Thrones. How do you feel and how do you felt at that time to be part of this unique experience in more ways than one?
Well, it's been such a journey. I mean, for the first season, we had no idea what the impact was going to be. You know, whenever you're in a creative process, you're always doubtful. You never know if it's going to turn out as well as you hope, and you put your work in, you know, but already after the first series had aired, we knew that, you know, it was a hit and that people really liked it. But ever since, the show has just kept on growing and growing and growing. So for it to become what it has become, I could never have imagined that. And it's, you know, a very special, like you say, a groundbreaking event personally, because it had such an impact on the world as well.
Absolutely. And now I'm talking about history in the making. Now we're going to move with Alexander Ludwig, another great member of the cast of Vikings. He appears in second season, but we want to bring it today to celebrate the 10th-year anniversary of Vikings, only in history.
All who came before us are dead, and we are the remainders. And now we are going separately on our own paths. And I'm sad. All I know is that we will see each other again in Valhalla. We will laugh and sing. The gods will embrace us. And so this is life. And so is this death. Farewell.
Hi, Alexander. How are you? So nice to see you once again.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me. This is awesome.
I cannot hear you. I think you're in mute. Okay. Now, Alexander, can you speak? Hello? Now, can you speak, please? Okay, Alexander, if you can get out and get back to us, maybe it will work. For some reason, we cannot hear you well.
How about now?
Disculpen, pero es un evento en vivo. Now can hear you, Alexander.
Ahora sí.
Alexander, can hear you now. Perfect.
How about now?
Perfecto. Sí.
Awesome.
Awesome. Alexander, the last time we saw each other was in Sao Paulo, Brazil. 350,000 people in Brazil gone. I remember seeing you, Alexander Ludwig, after the trailer of Vikings was showcasing after 10 years of the premiere, and I saw a couple of tears coming from your eyes, full of emotion. What do you still feel so passionate and emotional every time you see your audience, your fans in such a stage?
I think it's because we never expected this show to be what it was. We all were a part of it because we loved it. I really thought this show was amazing when I had first seen the first season, but none of us, I don't think, could have expected the kind of trajectory it was going to have. And it didn't happen instantly. It happened over, a period of time. So, for some people that I meet on the street, only now they're just discovering it or they've just finished watching it, and we've been off the show for God knows how long now. So it's just a reminder of just how lucky we all were to be a part of something so incredible. It was such a beautiful surprise. And, I'll remember that experience forever.
We cannot appreciate more the fact that you were able to participate in the last 6 months, not only of Comic Con Brazil when we announced the premiere of Vikings to History 2, but you also participate of Comic Con Medellin, Colombia.
Yeah.
So are you a fan of Latin America or what?
Oh yeah. I'm a big fan. I think the fandom in Latin America is just incredible. You feel so much love because everybody's just so passionate. And every time I go there, I just feel so special, to have been a part of something that has connected the way it does. It warms your heart and it makes me feel great because it's just like that feeling that you're doing something not just for yourself. The work that you've done actually means a lot to people, and I really feel that when I go there. It's surreal.
And what Alexander Ludwig is doing these days, because we know that you're working another TV hit series.
Yeah, so I have the second season of Heels is coming out in the next couple of months. I finished a film with Guy Ritchie and Jake Gyllenhaal called they just changed the name. It was called The Interpreter. Now it's called The Covenant, and that'll be out in April. And we just found out that Bad Boys 4 will be going back, so I'm going to go back and work on that. And yeah, it's been amazing. You know, working is always great in our business. You know, it's never promised. So
Excellent. So now don't go away. Please, the production team to help me out to have all them combined in one panel. Vamos a colocarlos todos en un panel para poder compartir con todos. Antes de ir a la ronda de preguntas, tengo algo que mostrarles, así que no vamos a hacer preguntas todavía. Quiero que vayamos todos en panel, por favor. Coloquen a todos los talentos en diferentes pantallas. And now what we want to do is share one scene that was never seen and was deleted, actually, of season 6. So we want to share this unseen footage with you first before we go to the Q&A with the journalists.
I haven't talked about my role in the death of your mother. Your role? You left me in charge of Garrigan. I knew about Fitzur's condition. I ought to have known that he was dangerous, but I ignored all the warning signs. I knew nothing of Lagatha's battle with the bandits. I knew nothing of her return. What a poor ruler I was.
It was not you, but the gods who decided what happened to Agatha. But I blame myself. Where was I when she needed me? Searching for glory.
I think we have all just missed Floki. All of us. All the brothers. Floki was a consistent and guiding element in all our lives. He was our spiritual leader. Since his disappearance, so many things have gone wrong.
I agree. That is what I talked to Chateau about. I want to find out what happened to Floki. I still don't believe Chateau's explanation.
And that is why I want to go to Iceland.
You have a destiny, Oba. And you must find it.
I love you. Never has anyone had a brother like Björn Ironside.
Okay, I want to see the cast. Please don't showcase my face. Please showcase the cast, please. So
You killed it! I remember
Great
that
kill it once
scene.
again.
I directed that scene. Alex, you were so good. Oh, what a great cast.
only as good as your
we want to
director.
know So we want to know three aspects of it. Why the director have this scene and we never saw it before, and how do you felt in this particular very emotional scene for a character like yours, Alexander? So, Katrin, how do you feel with this scene?
Well, first of all, it is a very important scene. This episode was specifically of Alexander's character dealing with the death of Lagertha, his mom. But I think there was so much within the entire episode. And as you know, we're shooting everything into 45, 46 minutes. There's a lot of footage that unfortunately won't be able to make the final. But his performance in that episode, the entire episode from start to finish, was mind-blowing and such a talent. And I'm lucky to not only call him a good friend who I'm dearly, Alex. Congratulations. I've been actually WhatsApping you and I'm realizing I have the wrong number. So I gotta get your new number. I'm in Nashville, where are you? And I'm like, where's an answer? And I'm realizing I have the wrong number. But I miss you guys so dearly, and it's such a good reunion just to see all these beautiful faces and best friends for life. You guys are stuck with me.
100%.
Thank you. And Alexander, how do you feel about this scene of yours?
And I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Catherine is one of my favorite directors I've ever worked with, like period. And I didn't know what to expect when we went into this. I mean, she's such a force just as a human being, and I love her. She's like a sister to me. And she just took the whole show by the reins, and we just had such an amazing collaborative experience. And she fought for that time for me, and I really mean that. Like none of what you see in my performance would have happened without Catherine. So in terms of the character, I love those moments when Bjorn. Michael and I have always talked about this, and hey, Michael, I miss you. But it's like, when was Bjorn ever going to have that self-awareness of him, starting to kind of reflect on himself as a human being? And I think this is kind of the beginning of that. So do I miss this scene? Yes, but I have to trust that, we're better, eventually stuff has to get cut out. I'm just so happy that towards the end, you do finally see Bjorn kind of take responsibility for who he is as a man and where his flaws were. And I think this is kind of the beginning of that for him.
Totally agree with that. And now we are going to open, if that's okay with all the cast and Michael, we are going to open to the Q&A. And believe me, we are so happy and so proud. And I have to give a special thanks to Christina Lee from MGM to help us to put together this unique prom reunion, as we call it, because after 10 years, we are together again. And I love to see your faces. You cannot stop smiling to see each other's faces. And I love that feeling to be part of it.
Cesar, can I very quickly say something?
Please do.
Okay, just to say, seeing all of you is very emotional for me.
Yeah.
You were my characters and my friends, and we cooperated. We did this together every step of the way. And, you're the ones who actually brought these characters to life and realized them. And absolutely extraordinary cast, I think. And my love for you all is infinite. I think about you all often. And when I see scenes like that, I mean, the amount of emotion we got into scenes of that people would have thought that's a show about violence and Vikings. It's a show about feelings and people, and that's why it's so big and people like it. It confounds their expectations. It's about real people. It's about them. People watching it, it's about them. Who knew that Vikings could be so human?
Yeah.
Michael,
Thanks,
I think
guys.
one of the things that you have hit right there is that how a show that wants to be portrayed as a macho, savage in certain instances, and it could be so human, and how the characters were able to be so well defined and so humanized. How you were able to do something like this, Michael?
Well, I don't know. I just wrote from the heart. But I tell you something, that the History Channel, of course, was when we began work with them and for them, was a male-skewed outfit. Just about all was to do with the Second World War and Nazis, and one of the reasons I think History Channel picked up Vikings was they had an assumption that they had an audience for battles and violence and things, and partly and hugely to do actually with Catherine Winnick's performance at Lagatha and bringing a lot of women to the show to watch it and like it and identify with it. By the end of the show, the run of the show, the audience was nearly 50-50 male and female. And So the idea that, I did succeed in a way of humanizing Vikings makes me enormously proud, but also humble, because, I didn't know that would happen, and I couldn't have done it without these guys. Not for an instant could I have done it on my own. No.
I think you all together are a force of nature. So now we are going to
I
see.
just have to take a picture. Sorry, I love the script so much. Hold on. Okay.
Okay. She cannot stop herself directing everybody. So now we are going to go for the Q&A. We have more than 250 journalists from Argentina, Colombia, Mexico, Chile, Brazil, who are dying to ask you questions. So we are going to go directly to the Q&A. Mariana, can you please help me out?
Yes, we're going to start with Giselle de Almeida from Omelette, Brazil.
Hello, everybody. Buenas tardes
Hello.
a todos. ¿Me escuchan?
Yes, perfectly
Buenas
well.
tardes.
Okay. My question is for Michael Hurst. So in previous interviews, you've mentioned that you were told that it was impossible to make Vikings sympathetic. So we are here 10 years later and one spin-off series later talking about the show. How do you explain how this show became so popular and this universe and these characters connected with people?
Well, it's really what Gustav was talking about earlier, and Rolo and Clive, the seeing things from the inside rather than just on the outside. If you just read accounts of Vikings, they're just accounts of brutality and killings, and the Vikings have always been seen culturally in the rest of the world as the other, the dark forces who come in at night and steal your goods and rape your life and they're just bad people. And because the people who wrote about them were Saxon monks, so they were the enemy. The Vikings were the enemy, and I was interested in their culture. That women in Viking societies were able to own property, divorce their husbands, rule. Nobody knew about that side of the Vikings. Nobody knew how democratic they were. So I was looking at it from the inside as human beings, not as emblems of evil and destruction, but as men and women like we are, who loved. How strange that husbands love their wives and wives and husbands love their children. Of course, that's the human experience, and I just thought I want to show that. And because I think I got into the heads and the hearts of quite a few of my characters, I think that it enabled the audience to share my empathy for these people. So they came closer to us. They didn't seem so foreign. They didn't seem so far away. They seemed close to us. They were people we recognized and could understand and empathize with.
Thank you, Michael. Next question, Mariana, please.
Álvaro Cueva from Millennium Newspaper, Mexico.
Álvaro, vamos. Álvaro, we cannot hear you. Okay, let's go to the next question. When Álvaro is ready, we go for Álvaro.
Okay,
let's go to the next question,
Sebastián
Mariana.
Tabani from Argentina, La Nación Newspaper.
Hey, hello guys, how are you?
Oh,
wow. This
Gran
is a question
Sebastián,
for Michael. You wrote all the episodes from the show, which is very, very, very difficult to do. And also, it's not common in industry where you have a showrunner and a writer's room. So looking back, do you see an evolution of your writing from the first episode to the last episode? And also, how the budget, when it was a hit, the show was a hit, began ballooning. You had the opportunity to basically do everything. Did that affect your writing?
I obviously, taking 7 years to write a show like this, which is immersive and very emotional, certainly for me, was an extraordinary and challenging experience. I had written a TV show before, of course, and so I kind of knew that I knew the basics. And I'm afraid to say, I don't have a writer's room because I like the research and getting deep into the characters and living with the characters and going on a journey with them. So I was developing my craft. I was also working with really good directors, with a fantastic cast. And of course, you learn from the experience. You learn from other people. You should be very open as a creative person to other influences and other people. So of course, I think I got better, if in inverted commas, as a writer, I suppose. There were challenges because when we started and everything, there were ads. There were about 5 or 6 ads for every episode. So I had to write cliffhangers every 10 minutes or something, and that's quite a challenge. So that was a new skill that I had to learn. But I enjoyed the whole experience. I threw myself into it. It was a 24-hour a day sort of experience for me. I lived it day and night. And I didn't change when we got more money to make it. That was an organic thing. It just meant that I could take the show to more exotic places. We could go to Iceland, both physically and in the show. We could go to Russia. So my vision was able to expand and accommodate new characters and new worlds. But it was all a learning experience, a humbling experience, as well as a great experience.
Thank you, Michael, once again. Gracias, Sebastián Genio. Let's go with the next question, Mariana.
Yes, Úrsula Toro from El Tiempo newspaper, Colombia.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here with you. Thank you for this opportunity. This question goes to Michael Hertz. Michael, you are quite a legend in the historical series genre. You have made many people excited about history. I want to know, how do you find your niche in this historical drama? And how do you handle the criticism from the historians? Thank you.
Okay, well, the simple answer would be that apart from sport, there were only 2 things I could do at school, and that was history and English. So I cleverly combined that into a career. But I had a sort of I had an academic background. I was at 3 universities. I love the research part of writing about historical material. I allow the research to inform what I write, and it's just part of my process. And I just love the past, really. But in a way, I see my job as connecting the past to the present. I mean, I hated those BBC costume dramas, which were people in funny costumes talking about things that no one cared about anymore. So I wanted to make the history relevant and real to people today. And of course, initially, particularly, I was attacked because there was this assumption that was that I was making it up, which actually, for the most part, I wasn't. I had a historical advisor. And the other thing was that if you invented anything or if you were imaginative, the drama couldn't be good. Well, try telling that to Shakespeare. I mean, Shakespeare used historical material in his historical plays, but he transformed it. He made art. He made drama. That's what a dramatist, that's what a writer does, to transform it. And finally, I do have to say that a book has recently been published by some well-known academics, people from Cambridge and Durham and other big English universities, who study Vikings as their historians. They study Vikings, and they've compared my scenarios, my shows to their accounts of what really happened, and they were very, very complimentary about how basically true and authentic my Viking show is. And that was a great blessing to me.
Thank you, Michael, once again. Thank you, Uchi. Siguiente pregunta.
Florencia Orellana from Clack TV, BTR, Chile.
Hello. I'm a huge
Hi.
fan of you guys. I'm so happy to be here. I watched Vikings twice, so now I am an expert. So I want to know if you know anything about Vikings before being in the show, and once inside the project and on set, what impacts you the most about their lives?
Okay, this question will be to whom? Clive, Gustav, Katrin, or Alexander?
Alexander Ludwig. Alexander, totally.
I'm sorry, can you repeat part of the question?
Yes, the question is like before you went to the show of Vikings, how much do you know or knew about Vikings, and how different was your experience when you get into the show?
Okay, I got you. Sorry. First of all, I can't look at these people and not laugh. They just make me giddy. Second, I can't help it. Okay, sorry. Second of all, I knew nothing about Vikings, nothing at all. I think that's why people loved this show is that, you know, I think a lot of audience members love learning, and this is a culture, as Michael said, where all we knew were there were these kind of demons from the north that had come over and had just raided all these different places, and suddenly you put an element of humanity to this culture, and I thought that was so fascinating. I will say I got really lucky because I did not come on the first season, so I already got to see the final product of the first season, and I was a massive fan to begin with. So I definitely had it easier than everybody else. I was just really grateful to be a part of this show and get to tell this story. I think all the actors on this show share the same sentiment that we've had an opportunity on this show to do something that most actors never get to do in their entire lives, which is show a trajectory that is so big over the span of decades. And, you know, so much of that, obviously, I attribute to Michael being such a phenomenal writer and building out this incredible world, and then to this incredible cast that I'm lucky to be a part of, who brought so much humanity to each character. So I think, to me, that's what drew a lot of audiences in, was just the fact that we've always heard the word Vikings and we've heard of these people, but we knew nothing of it. And as I get older and the more I talk to other fans of the show, it is just a consistent reminder of just how lucky we were to be a part of something that broke through the ice this way.
Thank you so much, Alexander, for your answer. Una de las cosas más importantes también para Clack BTR, que está haciendo una pregunta muy buena, es que es uno de los grandes atractivos que tiene, sin lugar a dudas, el show de hoy, que se llama Vikings, es que sabe combinar como ningún otro lo que es entretenimiento e historia con cultura. Entonces no solamente te estás entreteniendo, sino que también estás aprendiendo, como correctamente Alexander Ludwig lo mencionó. Y me encanta verte ahora ya desde Miami, pero me acuerdo haberte visto en Santiago hace poco con el Precio de la Historia. Gracias, Clack BTR. Siguiente pregunta, por favor.
Gustavo Méndez, Canal 9, Argentina.
Hi, everyone. From Argentina, the land of the champion of the world in Qatar 2022. This question is for Katrin and Gustav.
Well done, Messi. Well done, Messi.
Wow, come on. What do you think about of Lionel Messi? Do you see in Lionel Messi an Argentinian team with the spirit of a Viking? Messi is a conqueror of soccer and a dreamer, like a Vikings. No,
Yeah.
what do you think about that?
Yeah, he has a Viking spirit. He's been on a journey, and nothing will stop him. He's a force of nature, and you know, he makes you smile to watch him. He's also ruthless like a Viking. You know, he's as a striker, he's a killer. He's amazing.
I think you already got your answer, Channel 9 from Argentina. Now we go to next question, please.
Marco Vergara, Red Más Noticias, Claro TV, Colombia.
Hi guys, hi.
Hi.
Hello.
Are you hearing me good? Yes.
Yes.
Hello. Are you hearing me? Okay,
Sí, te
guys.
escuchamos.
So welcome to Colombia. I'm Marco Vergara from Red Plus, and I like to ask this question to Catherine Winnick. Catherine, welcome to Colombia. It was a really pleasure having you here in Cartagena. So I like to ask you your main references from our countries. And after a decade interpreting Lagertha, what is the thing about this character that captivates you the most through the years?
I'm not sure what you said about the first country. All I know is, or the first question you said, I just got back from Colombia. I think you were saying I was there just less than 2 weeks ago, and I had the pleasure of going to Uruguay after, and then I also was Paris just a few years ago. So I've been in Argentina, and I absolutely love it over there. The people are so warm. The food is amazing. The culture, it's Colombia, Argentina, Uruguay are definitely places I need to come back and visit soon. So thank you for hosting me, and very, very warm spirit, and definitely some amazing fans there. So some great tattoos and not some great ones too, but mostly great ones. I guess your question is in terms of Lagertha. I guess I've been just very lucky to get a chance to play somebody who not only has the physical aspect of being able to take care of herself, but I think that is definitely a reflection of who she is as a person, with her strong will, with her determination, her spirit of never giving up on herself. Oh, yep, there's a picture last week. Yep, there's another one.
Love it that you have the videos and everything just right here. It's so good. Such a good production.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I got a chance to swim with horses. I'm a huge fan of Uruguay and Colombia, Argentina. So I definitely will have to come back and visit very soon.
Perfect. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you so much.
Now let's go to the next question. You see, I told you, everybody. It looks like a prom reunion. Esto solamente ocurre cuando reunimos a todos los personajes después de 10 años. This is like a prom reunion. We're having so much fun.
There's like kids in a play box.
Here in Colombia, we'll just be waiting for all of you guys.
Exactly. So now we go to the next question before we get out of order. Let's go.
Anne Brown from Canal Like, Brazil.
Hi.
Hey everyone, hi. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
I just want to say that Catherine is the reason why I started bleaching my hair. So thank you.
Oh.
Yeah. Look where I am now. So I wanted to know from the actors, what was something that you guys picked up from the show that stuck with you through this 10 years?
I'd say this
Catherine,
bunch.
you go.
This people. That's what I picked
Wait,
up.
Gustav, what's yours?
I said this bunch of people. That's what I picked up from the show.
Yeah.
I picked up all of you, and I'm keeping you.
Can I say the
Love
same
that.
thing? I thought the same thing too. I want to keep all of you guys for life. Yeah. Also, I definitely learned how to break down script, Michael Hurst. So thank you, and how to be able to see things as a director and also as an actor through a different lens. So I'm grateful for that.
I mean, taking back from
Is
what
any
the actual Viking, the appreciation of nature when you start getting pagan religion and looking at nature differently and looking at everything that looks back at you, whether it be an animal or or when you're kind of lost in the forest or something. There is something that's quite magical about the Vikings and how they store everything in a different lens. I think that'll always stay with me now.
Any one of you got something from the set that you decide to keep, and you can tell now what you actually took from the set?
Well, actually, one thing that they did for Vikings, which I thought was amazing, is whenever somebody died on the show, Michael and the crew would present a shield signed by the cast and crew. And I think that was amazing. So I think most of us got to take that home. When I died on the show, Michael gave me Bjorn Ironside's sword, which I still have in my house. It's truly one of my most prized possessions. And whenever I meet a Vikings fan that comes to like my door, my wife says that I'm literally a child because I'm like, oh, you want to see the sword? but I love it. I'm like, I'm so happy that we have it. So that's something really special we got to take home.
I managed to get hold of the Scourge board and the Sunstone that Ragnar and Rollo use in episode 2, which I asked for patiently.
And if you have another part of your question, did we answer everything from you? For you?
Yeah, great.
Well,
Thank
for
you,
me,
guys.
I have an armor. And Michael Hurst, do you remember the poem that you wrote me? The poem that you wrote me when Lagerth had passed away? For me, that was like one of my prized possessions. I have it in my living room. Thank you.
Okay.
So you see, everybody keep a couple of things.
You gave me a sword, which was wonderful. And Alexander gave me an acoustic guitar, which is something I play most days, and that helps me to remember everyone. It's fantastic. Not a Viking implement, but
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So
Michael and I used to play guitar together.
Yeah.
Nice. Annie, from Brazil, do you have any part of your question that was not answered?
No, everything's great. Thank you.
I think you got more than you were begging for. So we're very happy. Next question,
But if you want
please.
to give me more, okay.
Adrian
Let's go
Peña
back to the
from
rest.
Dish, Mexico. Adrian Peña from Dish, Mexico.
Adrián, ¿estás ahí?
Alex, you got the giggles.
Okay. It's a question from Pulimetro, Chile. And the question is, Catherine, if you were able to impersonate or incarnate another character from Vikings, which will be and why?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I don't think I can ever match any of these amazing performances. Like, what is happening? Is there a female version of Floki? Is there the seer? I don't know how I can answer because I can't. They're too talented to ever even try to impersonate. I think Michael. What would I? Maybe Ragnar. I'll take Ragnar.
Okay, you will take Ragnar. What about you, Gustav? Which character would you like to incarnate? It was not your character.
Yeah, I'd go for Lagertha for sure.
Okay. Good.
I mean, she's
what
a,
about
she's
you,
a
Clay?
badass.
I can see it now.
Yeah. Yeah.
With the
for
braid.
sure. Oh yeah. I get to wear a wig, hide my bald head, and be vicious and fierce. What's not to love?
have a good point there. What about you, Clive
Yeah.
or Alexander? Is any other character you like to be if you have a second chance
I
around?
think Lagatha is the most well-rounded, most exciting character in the show. The journey that she goes through the whole thing. I'm the wrong sex, but Lagatha actually is a fantastic character. But I wouldn't give up Rolla for the world.
Fair enough. Alexander?
Gustav and I always talked about this too back in Ireland, but I always thought Ivar was such an interesting character. Of course, once you see the show now, there's just no world you could ever imagine anybody else playing these different roles. But I really loved that. And Michael and I would sit. We had these great dinners that everybody would look forward to, where it was like story time, and you'd sit down with Michael at a restaurant, and he would just like tell you what's happening in the show. And I remember when he first introduced Ivar, and I just remember thinking that's just such a phenomenal character in its own right. So,
yeah. Thank you. Next question, please.
Yes, José Vieira from Noticias.tv, UOL Brazil. UOL Brazil, sorry.
Hi guys. My question is for the actors. I imagine that recording the show demanded a lot from you, physically and emotionally speaking. What was the hardest scene you guys shooted during the show?
Okay, this question will be to Alexander. Which one was the most difficult scene that you have to face?
There was the first one there was a ton of hard scenes. The one thing I'll say about this show is it really wasn't for divas. And that's kind of what I think brought everybody together. You know, the women, as much, if not more so than the men, were just right out in the elements with everybody else. There was nowhere to turn. If it started raining, you were hiding underneath your shield. But it really created this incredible bond between the cast and crew. But to date, one of the hardest days was the Blood Eagle of King Aila. It was in Childers Woods. And it was this place in Ireland, and Gustav remembers this. It was so cold. And it doesn't even look that cold in the show, which is even worse, because it was just horrible. Everybody was just shivering. We felt like we were getting frostbite. We were out there for hours. It was wet. But again, it's all worth it when you feel like you're a part of something special.
Excellent answer. Let's go to next question.
Glenda Moni from Red Intercable, Argentina.
Hola. Hi, everyone.
Hola.
It's a great pleasure to have you here. Happy 10th anniversary. I would love to share a wine with you guys, but you're a little far, or mate. Next time, we hope to see you soon in Argentina. I had the question of the character too, so I will reform it to Catherine. I will direct to Catherine, but it's for everyone to ask. First, I would like to say something about Catherine. We met in New York to this amazing woman because it's something out of Scream. That's because I love her so much. I met her in a premiere of The Dark Tower, and I was in Argentina alone, a total stranger in a private meeting, and she's the only person between a few bunch of people that came to me. I think you were with a familiar, and talked to me a little while. So thanks. I never said that to you, but you are an amazing person.
Yeah, she is.
Really, really beautiful person from inside and out. I will ask the question now. I have to reform it. Is there any part, a special scene on the series in the moment of shooting or after, when you saw it, that you say, okay, this is something different. This is not a regular series. Michael, thank you for creating this. Was there a scene, I don't know, the scene of the coffin, there are a lot of scenes in Vikings, but a moment that you think, okay, this is something out of regular. This is something extraordinary or something special. This is for everyone, okay? So.
For sure, that's an easy question for me to answer. It happened very, very early on. I believe it was in the first episode or two, when Michael Hurst wrote the scene where Ragnar goes to Lagatha and says she can't come on the journey. And she literally fights him back and says, what do you mean? In my dreams, we were always together. And there was a strong lover's quarrel, and who she is, that she's not one to ever come down. That was one scene that comes to my mind. The other one is when there's two men that come to her household, and she grabs the fire stick and ready to protect her home. And I think those two scenes really just set up the framework of this character and who Lagertha is to the core, and that she will fight to the death for what she believes in, and her family's the most important thing. So I knew that the show is going to be something different, that women are, or at least how with a combination with Michael, that women will be celebrated, and at least Lagertha will have a strong voice.
Yes.
Thank you. Next question, please.
Yes, it comes from Nicole Trejo, El Universal newspaper, Mexico.
Hi guys, thank you for your time. I'm Nicole Trejo from. Hi, sorry. And my question is for Catherine, because today there are more famous directors in film and television, but it wasn't like that when you started on Vikings. What do you think about the participation of women in production and direction, and how do you think it has evolved in these 10 years?
Well, we have been very lucky with Michael Hirst also casting and hiring a lot of strong female directors. Helen Schaefer just comes to my mind, who was one of our favorite directors, who was also, she just won a DGA award for Best Directing, who I have been still in contact with and very proud of her. And understanding that that women have a voice, not just in front of the camera, but behind the camera as well. And I think with that, with Vikings celebrating women behind the scenes, it's been a big start. And also a lot of women are now, there's more directors, and hopefully there's more writers as well, and more strong women characters on television. And we just need to keep going, so there's an equal voice out there. So hopefully more women will direct, more women will write their material, and I can't wait to be part of that movement as well.
Vamos con la siguiente pregunta, por favor.
Guys, I'm sorry, I have a limited amount of time here, so I have to head out because I was told it was only going to be 70 minutes. So unfortunately, I have to run.
Don't you worry.
But I love you all so much. And thank you to all the fans in South America, and sending you my love. I would love to come to Comic-Con there and meet all you guys. So big, much love, and take care, all of you. Miss you.
Thank you so much for everything, Gustav. Till the next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gustav.
Now let's go to the next question, please.
Yes, Luisa Vilela from Exam Magazine, Brazil.
Hello, guys. It's an honor to be here and talking with you. Huge fan as well. My question is for actually all of you, so feel free to answer it. Today, we have a scenario, and even before 10 years ago, when the show was released, we have a entertainment scenario when Disney and HBO, they all control the media scenario. And it's a bit hard because all the movies and the shows were from them. And then 10 years ago, we have Vikings, and it was a huge success. So my question for all of you is, how can you guys explain this huge success, even in this scenario, basically controlled by other gigantic studios?
Thank you for your question. Now let's go to Michael Hirsch.
Well, I mean, the real reason it's been a success is that it's very good. It's wonderful drama. It's very powerful drama. It's very well made. But you know, we weren't the product of huge, successful studios. As I say, MGM had gone bankrupt and were just on the way back, and this was their first drama. They had no idea how it was going to go. History had never made a long form drama before, and they were very nervous about it. Compared to other shows, our initial budget was quite modest. There was not a great deal of advertising. It was advertised on the Super Bowl, which I wasn't I wasn't very happy about because that cost a lot of money. It was most of the advertising budget went on that game. So we didn't have the advantage or disadvantage of having very powerful backers. And it may be an advantage because they left us alone. You know, the History Channel just didn't make drama. So they just left it to me and the production to turn in a good show. And in fact, the person I dealt with at History Channel said to me, I was on the set the first day, and I thought he was going to give me a pep talk or warn me of the pitfalls or the dangers of what we were doing. All he actually said was, just make us care for the characters. And that was one of the best notes, of course, you can ever get, because that is the key. If you get the audience to care for the characters, you're halfway to having a successful show.
Absolutely. Great answer. Next question, please.
Karina
I have
Beltrame
to.
from Los Andes.
Yeah. How many questions have we got left?
We only have 2 more questions left. So it's only 2 more questions.
I have
Karina
to catch.
from Los Andes newspaper.
I know,
Hello,
Catherine.
how are
If you
you?
have to go, we understand, Catherine.
I have to catch a flight home, so I can't miss my flight. But I
Go
just want
home.
to say
We want you home. Catherine, thank you so much for everything.
Alex.
Only one. It's my question is for you, Catherine. Please.
Okay, all right, bring it on. Let's go.
Just one more. Okay, I think that Lagerta was a character that empowers women in many ways. How much influence do you think that the character of Lagerta had on the women of the world?
Oh, that's a good question. Oh gosh, I'm not sure if I'm the best person to answer that other than Michael. I think Michael knows it very well. I can say that the response I have with my incredible fans, I probably have the most loyal, most devoted fans that I could ever ask for. And I absolutely love each and every one of them. I really do. I'm very grateful that they've stuck by my career. They're following my movements. And I feel when I was in Argentina even too, and just seeing how it works over there with the women's movement over there. And when I was over there, there was a big, I believe that, you know, my character, even in Colombia, just had a strong response to women and young girls as role models. And I couldn't be more lucky to play such a strong role of Lagertha. And maybe, Michael, you can add to this because I feel you know most. I know that I originally wasn't supposed to stay on as long as I did. And I'm lucky that I did stay on to see Lagertha grandmother.
Oh, yes. Well, speaking as a woman, I think that Catherine's role has been hugely significant in the history of female emancipation.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
In more ways than one.
Thank you.
Catherine, before you go, we want to say thank you for joining us. We know you have a plane to catch. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to be with you and have you today in this press conference. So thank you. Many blessings and
Thank
safe
you
and
so
flight
much.
home.
I hope to
Bye.
come see you guys
Take care.
soon too. Comic-Con, sure. Love you. Mwah.
You will. You will. Bye-bye. Now, guys, we only have 2 more questions to go. Next question, Mariana, please. We have to go.
Yes, Andres Uliani from UOL Brazil, Tangerina.
Let's go.
Hi, everyone. Hi, I'm sorry. I'm going to do this one quickly. For the cast, I want to know how do you feel when you finish reading your last script from the show? And so, Michael, when did you feel it was time to end the show, to end this journey you started?
So let's start
I'll let
first
the
with
others answer.
the answer. I think let's start with Clive and Alexander. What you were feeling when you knew your character was done, your last scene, when you knew was over? How do you feel?
Well, mine was complicated because I
Yes.
thought I was leaving the show, and then Michael brought me back again. He kind of, well, Michael, you did say you were find a way of bringing me back, but my last proper day, as Alex said, you get given a shield, and you make a speech, and everyone's around you, and it'd been 4 years, and it was really emotional. It's really tough when you're so attached to a show, and when the show is so successful, and you enjoy going to work every day. And then I went on to another show, a very modern show, very different, with a very different type of cast. And that's the thing, you don't know what you've got until you've lost it. In that case, and you go, and then I remember Michael rang and said, "Look, we've found a way of bringing Rollo back." And it was amazing to come back in, but also it was strange to come back again after there'd been a period of time not being in the show and see the dynamic had changed with Ragnar's sons. But that's the one thing I still, deep down, it's a weird thing that niggles me, because Rollo is one of the one characters you don't really see die or leave. I mean, Michael was clever enough to put this tonic that Rollo's drinking in the very last scene, and it's very clear that something's not quite ripe in Denmark, so he's on his last legs, but
Ya hablé con
he kind of never...
Mariel y ya quedé para mañana.
Absolutely. Michael, do you want to add something to it?
Well, from my point of view, I always knew how I wanted the show to end. I didn't know whether we would have the opportunity to do so many episodes and actually end it the way I wanted, but I knew that it would end in America. And, so I had very mixed feelings at the end. I was very happy that we'd reached the proper ending, the ending that I wanted, a fairly low-key ending, just sitting on a beach in America. But that was going to America, looking out to sea was the end. I thought when I started the whole thing 7 years before. So I was very sad that it ended. The camaraderie, the sense of a joint venture was very powerful, and just suddenly going and leaving all your friends and colleagues was hard. But still, in terms of the show, it finished the way I wanted it to finish.
Thank you. Next and last question before the end of the session today.
Matías Horta from Argentina, a sala llena.
Hi.
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 Hi. Hi, Vikings.
Okay.
My question is for Clive.
Okay.
Yes. Rollo is a more complex and fascinating character. It's dark and dangerous, but also human. How did you work to compose it?
How do you create your role as Rollo?
Yeah, he is complicated, but I mean, he's still deeply human and flawed. And I remember Johan Renck, our very first director of episode 1 to 3, he gave me this Swedish proverb, which roughly translated as "everybody wants to be loved. And if they can't be loved, they want to be admired. And if they can't be admired, they'll be willing to be feared. And if they can't be feared, they'll be hated." And everyone just wants to fit in, and this man's no different. He's trying to kind of find his way. And he just wants to be seen. And there's that beautiful scene that Michael wrote with Ragnar and Rollo, where he just goes, "I wanted to step out of your shadow, but when I did, there was no sunlight." He's just constantly just trying to take every scrap he can get. But my job as an actor is really not to judge him. That's what I tried so hard to do, is not to kind of really make a comment. I just kind of really look deeply inside myself and think about the things I would do and put it up on the screen for everyone to see. I have a brother. There's that, and he just takes that to an extreme. So I think that's why Rollo's been. I think the fans like Rollo because it's very hard to hate him, because he always does learn from his mistakes. He makes these horrible mistakes and he does some awful, treacherous things, but he always is trying to better himself, and he just never really gives up until he really, he finds Gisela. And I think when the seer gives him that little bit of of a carrot to say, one day if you saw what was ahead of you, you'd be dancing naked on the beach. That's probably what I would have liked to happen. Rollo's last scene to see him get on the beach.
Yeah, I missed out that one. Yeah, I thought I should have done that. I know.
And Giza is the one person that sees his worth, and that's the love he was looking for. He just wanted someone to see his worth, and Ragnar never did. Well, not publicly.
So finally, Clive, before you go, and then to Alexander and Michael, your final words and your recommendation for all your fans in Latin America, why is so important not to miss Vikings on History 2?
I think still, even though we finished the show a little while ago and we started this show 10 years ago, there is still not a TV show that's an event television that's epic in scale, that will really cross genres. It's not just an historical drama. It's not an action adventure, because of the gods and the monsters that they've believed in, because of Michael Hurst's writing, because of the incredible race that the Vikings were. It's absolutely an incredible show not to be missed.
Thank you. Alexander?
Yeah, I'm very hard on the stuff that I do, and one thing I'll say, I'd be the first person to tell you not to watch something that I was in if I didn't like it. Just as an audience member, I'm so proud of this. I love this show, and as an actor on it, I'm so tremendously proud of this show. I obviously, as you guys have seen, I mean, this is my family. Whenever I see them, I can't not laugh just because they get me so excited. And I'm, to Latin America, we're so unbelievably grateful to each and every one of you. You guys clearly were a huge part of us continuing on as a show. And I really do believe this show will stand the test of time for, a very long time to come. And if the shows that have come out subsequently are any indication of how we've done, I think it's pretty fair to say that we've done extraordinarily well, because after this one show, you've seen so many other Viking shows that have followed it. I'm just very, very grateful to be a small part of something that kind of paved the way for everything in the future. And I'm very, very grateful to Michael and to MGM and History Channel for the opportunity.
Thank you. Michael, is your turn.
Okay, so I would say to anyone who hasn't watched the show yet that they should give it a chance. They should watch it. And possibly, much to their surprise, they will find that they are very engaged with the people in the show and will soon grow to love them as much as I love them. Even the ones who do unpredictable or strange things like Floki. These are, I think, the best characters I've ever created, embodied in wonderful performances by wonderful actors. And I know so many people who become addicted to the show and watch it again and again, because in fact you can always find new things in it. It's full not only of great performances, but it's full of ideas. It's full of philosophy in a way. It makes you think as well as makes you cry. So I'm only the writer, but I would like people to watch the show.
Thank you, Michael. Without a doubt, Vikings is a groundbreaking show in more ways than one, with an amazing storytelling, an amazing script, amazing character-driven that are hard to match, and an amazing human story with an emotional and unforgettable interpretation for the amazing cast. So thank you so much for making history and entertainment, and for making entertainment come to history. Thank you so much for a unique, wonderful work and a test of time and a great legacy that is hard to match. Hopefully, we can watch one day Vikings the movie with all of you, or Vikings the limited series 7th season. We can always dream about it and want to have it. And remember, we have the premiere on Monday, March 6th for History 2. Por favor, no se pierdan el estreno de Vikings en History 2 para que puedan ver todas las temporadas seguidas. Son 89 episodios, 6 temporadas, una historia con unos guiones increíbles y un elenco espectacular. Además, son historias hechas entretenimiento y entretenimiento hecho historia, solamente por History 2. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. Muito obrigado. Until the next time. Thank you, guys. All the best. Take care.
Chao, chao, adiós.
Bye-bye.
Chao, chao.
Ciao. Bye, guys.
Adiós, adiós.
Amazing. Thank
Adiós,
you.
gracias.
Adiós, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Gracias.
Aguanta
Adiós.
Argentina.
Gracias. Obrigado.
We love you.
Bye.
Serious. Thank you.
Me llamo Laia San José Beltrán, soy historiadora, estoy especializada en métodos y técnicas de investigación y empecé a especializarme en mundo nórdico hace justo 10 años cuando se estrenó la serie Vikings porque me interesaba mucho ver qué aspectos contaba la serie que se correspondían con la realidad histórica y cuáles, por ejemplo, no. Viking es una mezcla entre cosas que pasaron en realidad, folclore y bueno, pues cosas inventadas evidentemente para darle cohesión y para darle una estructura. Vas a encontrar aspectos históricos reales, vas a encontrar personajes históricos, vas a encontrar una historia vikinga mucho más real, mucho más acercada a la realidad de la que se ha podido ver en cultura popular en otros formatos hasta hoy en día. La serie juega muchísimo no solo con enseñarte lo que nosotros conocemos de los vikingos, sino con intentar explicarte cómo vivían, cómo sentían y en lo que creían los vikingos desde la perspectiva de los vikingos. Es una visión de la época vikinga diferente a la que hemos visto hasta ahora, porque no solo ves los hechos, sino también intentas un poco ponerte en la mentalidad de esa gente. Los vikingos son aquellas personas que vivieron en Escandinavia entre finales del siglo VIII hasta más o menos finales del siglo XI. Lo que convierte a un escandinavo en un vikingo es esa actividad de saquear fuera de sus fronteras. Todo lo que sabemos sobre ellos lo sabemos porque otras personas lo han escrito y esas otras personas son pues aquellas que les sufrieron de alguna forma, ¿no? Al final es una imagen súper masculina, súper enfocada al mundo bélico y súper enfocada a la guerra. Ver la serie, por supuesto, es una forma muy interesante de meterse de lleno en lo que fue la historia, que aleja muchísimo esa imagen del vikingo como, pues eso, como solo saqueador, como solo guerrero. Es muy interesante a la hora de entender ese sincretismo entre paganismo y cristianismo a través de sus personajes. La serie además tiene aspectos muy interesantes como dejarnos ver la parte más personal y la parte más mental de esa gente. Odín es el dios principal de la mitología nórdica. Es el dios de la batalla, es el dios de la sabiduría, es como el padre de todos. En el caso de las valquirias son deidades menores que su cometido es recoger a todas aquellas personas que caen de forma valerosa en batalla y llevarlas a dos lugares. El lugar más conocido es cuando cogen a la mitad de esos guerreros y los llevan al Valhalla, que es la residencia de Odín. Pero también recogen a la otra mitad de los guerreros y se lo llevan a Folkvang, que es la residencia de la diosa Freya. El principio de la serie, de hecho es que es la primera escena, es súper profética, ¿no? Porque vemos a Rollo y a Ragnar terminando una batalla. Ragnar tiene como una especie de visión en la que ve pasearse a Odín por el campo de batalla y se ve claramente una figura así como muy etérea de unas valquirias que cogen precisamente a esos guerreros y se los están llevando. Es un poco la visión que le dice a Ragnar que a lo mejor ya está bien de saquear en el Báltico y que tienen que empezar a buscarse la vida por otro sitio, y es cuando pues empezarán pues todas esas expediciones ya hacia el oeste, hacia la zona de Inglaterra. El saqueo al monasterio de Lindisfarne se produce el 8 de junio del año 793. Esto supone el inicio de la era vikinga de forma oficial. Los vikingos probablemente ya llevan bastante tiempo saqueando, como podemos ver en la serie, pero en otras zonas. A partir de mediados del siglo VIII se introducen toda una serie de mejoras en los barcos que les permiten navegar más lejos. Estas primeras expediciones no son esas grandes expediciones de cientos de barcos, de cientos de personas y guerreros súper planificadas y súper organizadas. Son expediciones un poco de a ver qué nos encontramos y sobre todo buscando objetivos muy sencillos que sean fáciles de atacar, que tengan riqueza que llevarse y volver. Los monjes que estaban en el monasterio se quedaron ingratamente más bien, sorprendidos, no se lo esperaban y para ellos dentro de la crónica que recoge esa entrada, los recoge como si una plaga, como si el mismísimo diablo hubiese aparecido y de hecho creían que era un castigo que les enviaba Dios por sus múltiples pecados. Al principio de la era vikinga las batallas son de contingentes bastante pocos, decenas de personas, cientos de personas. Los vikingos sí que lo que utilizaban muchísimo es una técnica que se llama el muro de escudos o la pared de escudos. Es más defensivo que otra cosa, prima sobre todo en la confianza en el de al lado porque te está cubriendo parte del cuerpo, y es una técnica que los vikingos tienen asimilada desde sus contactos con el Imperio Romano bastantes siglos antes de la era vikinga. Los vikingos los tenemos asociados muchísimo a la espada. Sin embargo, la espada es el arma que solo se podían permitir personas como de muy alto estatus. Lo más normal es que mucha gente acudiese a batalla con sus propias armas, que podrían ser igualmente sus herramientas de trabajo, como hachas, como arcos y flechas. También utilizan muchísimo la lanza, y la espada, pues eso, reservada a las personas de más alto estatus. ¿Por qué hay que ver Vikings? Porque así vas a revivir la leyenda y sobre todo porque vas a descubrir la verdadera historia de los vikingos.